Hey there everyone, and welcome once again to Joe Glass Comics. I'm Joe Glass. I'm going to tell you all about all the comics I've been reading from the last week's releases, which I've been really enjoying. So that's the week of June 9th, 2021, and these are some of the top books which really got my juices flowing this week and got me really excited. First up, I have Wynd, issue 7, written by James Tynion IV, Michael D'Alnias on the art, and lettered with and world design. Wynd is just a fantastic comic book. It's a really great series, which is now starting strong into its second story arc. And the big thing with Wynd is it's really inclusive, it's really interesting, it's a really fantastical world, which really does feel like it's right at James Tynion's heart. He said that he's been planning this sort of story and wanted to tell this story since he was like in high school or something, which I can relate to. That's very much how the Pride is. So yeah, you can tell it's got that heart and that sort of amount of love in there, and it comes across in work. And that's always the best kind of work that you get in a comic book. Anything where you really are putting in your heart and soul and where it really is important to you is going to come across to the reader, and they're just going to enjoy it a lot more. Wynd as such is just a really great book for that. As well as that, obviously the art in it does look fantastic. Michael D'Alnias has done fantastic work throughout his entire career, and has worked previously obviously with James, and together again they're just knocking it out of the park. The great thing about these issues as well is they are actually quite hefty chunks, bigger than your average size single issue, and as such you get a big chunk of story in each part, and it's really paid off, if you ask me, because it's kind of created this sort of whole new fantasy world for a comic audience to fall in love with. And like I say, you get these really awesome big chunks as you do it, and like I say, it's just great value for money for all the comics readers out there. As we are still in Pride Month, it would be remiss of me not to mention the fact that obviously it does again contain queer representation and inclusion, and that's really awesome to see, particularly in a story which is aimed more at a sort of like younger market, but which is still accessible to an older reader as well. So yeah, if you haven't been picking it up, I'd have to say go and check out Wynd. That's Wynd with a Y. You will really enjoy it. It's a real blast of a series. I'm really excited to see how it continues. Now, not to seem like I'm on some sort of James Tynion IV love fest, but my next favourite issue of the week was Joker, which is issue number 4, of course written by James again, this time featuring artwork from Guillaume March, Arif Prianto on the colours, Tom Napolitano on the letters, and with the Punchline backup story by Sam Johns, Mirka Andolfo on the artwork, Romulo Fajardo Jr. on the colours, and Ariana Meyer doing the letters on that particular backup story. Joker is a really fantastic read for almost the complete polar opposite reasons that Wynd is a fantastic read. It's a mature take which sort of has a sense of elevating the comics form in a way in how it's been done. There's this almost chapter structure to every issue. Usually it has multiple chapters per issue, which, although it's not the length of a novel chapter, it gives you or puts you in the mindset of a crime thriller novel. So you're immediately putting it into this sort of like higher level of importance in your brain. I think it's a really smart move from James, because at the end of the day this series is following Jim Gordon, who is of course Batman's most famous detective alongside Batman himself in his own books. So it's really interesting to see that sort of feel of a serious detective drama being done in the Batman universe and involving some incredible character development and character takes. I would say that James's Joker is a really fantastic take, as he comes across as particularly sadistic and cruel, and it's just a really scary take for the Joker. Similarly, the artwork has a sort of frenetic, edgy sort of style to it, with March really pushing this sort of line work to the way that it sort of just makes everything feel on edge, but like in a totally good way. It progresses the story brilliantly, and where needed will really make things go out of the borders and extreme in how they're depicted. The short, focusing on Joker's new girlfriend, Punchline, actually really focuses more on Bluebird this particular issue. It's a really fantastic story, continuing this sort of idea of a very different kind of villain to what we're used to seeing, not just in Batman stories, but also generally, I think, in comic books. Punchline is the great manipulator, and it's very interesting to see how far her manipulations have been spreading, and for how long. Finally, my other big favourite read was X-Men, number 21. Obviously, I got the variant cover for Pride Month featuring Mystique by Phil Jimenez. Of course, it's written by Jonathan Hickman. And artwork is actually by a number of creators coming together to tell the whole story. This particular point of view in the Hellfire Gala event, which is going on through the comics at the moment. As such, artwork was by Nick Dragota, Russell Doterman, Lucas Werneck, and Sarah Bocelli, featuring colour work by Frank Martin, Matthew Wilson, Sunny Go, and Nolan Woodward, and letters by Clayton Coles. Each of these artists brings their own unique style to the book, and to be honest, each one is bringing top level A game, and it really, really works. It's a really interesting mix of styles because some of them are quite different from others. Each artist is perfect for the section that they are telling of the story. There's a great element of setup continuing here from the Marauders one, which I reviewed in one of my previous videos, which actually again shows throughout the whole night of the Hellfire Gala and hints at something big happening. Now, next week we are going to be getting planet-sized X-Men, which is apparently the one which is really going to have all the big secrets in and the big events. I think a lot of people might have actually guessed. I think a very popular fan theory is where we're going. It certainly seems so at the end of this issue. I'm not going to spoil that. I mean, but if you know what most people on the X Spoilers hashtag are talking about, then yeah, that's probably where we're going. I think that's going to be something really huge and interesting, and yet another gigantic leap forward in the Krakoan era of the X-Men story. The X-Men saga at the moment is really, really fascinating, and I really can't wait to see where it's going as it continues to sort of show the X-Men and mutants as a greater community, and really exploring the idea of a community becoming even more than that and becoming more of a defined nation of people. It's high science fiction with a big element of superheroics in there as well, all in a slightly not usually seen sort of setting of a gala type event, like you would expect to see at the Met Gala. So it's really, really interesting to see how this all plays out. It's really a great chance for character development, character moments, not just for the X-Men and mutants, but also other characters within the Marvel universe as they are at the event as well. Yeah, I would say that if you have not been reading Jonathan Hickman's X-Men run, you have really been missing out. And these are definitely some great comics to enjoy this week. Obviously, there were a lot more comics out this week and every week, but obviously I can't read them all. But it would be great if you could tell me what you enjoyed out of the comics of this week, and why not put them in the comments just to let me know. That's it for me today. I'm gonna sort of go and enjoy some of this sunshine, which is beaming through my windows, probably backlighting me to hell until I can get myself some better lighting sorted in here. But like in the meantime, thank you again for checking out the video. Please comment with the comics that you're reading, that you're really enjoying, and anything you want to see me review, and obviously I can maybe see if I can get that done for you in a future video. Like the video and please subscribe if you haven't already. It would be great to see you again next video for more reviews of comics that I'm just really enjoying at the moment. I've been Joe Glass. Thank you again for stopping by, and happy Pride.